Mr. President, you said that you would have no. Mr. President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says.
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full bit. Okay, well, Secretary Hegseth.
No, whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
That's how you do it. That's how every reporter should do it with Donald Trump. Donald Trump said to Rachel Scott, I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news. To which Rachel Scott said, you said that. You said that you would have no problem releasing the full video. And that's how you do it. You don't let him get away with his lie. And what did Donald Trump do when Rachel Scott did not let him get away with his lie? He gave up. He just had one round of lying in him. He gave up. And he changed his story to, whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me. He changed his story to that. But Rachel Scott wasn't finished.
He now says it's under review. Are you ordering the secretary to release that full video?
Whatever he decides is okay with me.
So that's the new Trump story. It's not totally up to Pete Hegseth. We know that's a lie. We know that nothing is up to Pete Hegseth. We know that Donald Trump will order Pete Hegseth to release the video, or Donald Trump will order Pete Hegseth, as he obviously is now ordering him, to not release the video, because Donald Trump believes the video looks like murder. That's the reason not to release it. And that would be the only reason Donald Trump would not allow the release of that video.
All right, everyone. Today, Donald Trump made his very first choice when confronted with his own words from as recently as last week about releasing the video of the second missile strike. And what was that first choice? He lied. Of course he lied. That's what pathological liars do. Let me set the stage for you. We're talking about the second missile strike on what was left of a tiny open boat in the Caribbean, more than 1,500 miles away from the United States. The second missile was fired at two men clinging to what was left of the wreckage of that small boat. It killed them, bringing the total death count from that two-missile strike on that little boat to 11 people. The firing of the second missile has been described as, quote, just murder, end quote, by NYU law professor Ryan Goodman, who is also a former Pentagon lawyer. Last week, Donald Trump said, and I'm quoting his exact words, "Whatever they have, we'd certainly release. No problem." Those were his exact words about the video of the second missile strike that killed those two people clinging to the wreckage. The missile strike that Ryan Goodman says is just murder. By the way, I am trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. And when presented with his exact words today, the first words out of Donald Trump's mouth were, "I didn't say that." And of course, he was lying. This is the same pathological liar Donald Trump who the Washington Post recorded telling 30,573 lies during his first presidency. He's lying once again, this time to Rachel Scott of ABC News. And America is lucky tonight that Rachel Scott is in the White House press corps. Last year, she won an award from the Washington Association of Black Journalists. And of course, Donald Trump hates her and lies about her, as he did today. Watch how this exchange went down. Rachel Scott asks, "Mr. President, you said that you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela." Secretary Hegseth now says, Trump interrupts, "You said that? I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news." Scott pushes back. "You said that you would have no problem releasing the full video." Trump, "Whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me." That's how you do it. That's how every reporter should handle Donald Trump. Trump said to Rachel Scott, "I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news." To which Rachel Scott responded, "You said that. You said that you would have no problem releasing the full video." And that's how you do it. You don't let him get away with his lie. And what did Donald Trump do when Rachel Scott did not let him get away with his lie? He gave up. He just had one round of lying in him. He gave up and changed his story to, "Whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me." But Rachel Scott wasn't finished. Scott, he now says it's under review. Are you ordering the secretary to release that full video? Trump, whatever he decides is okay with me. So that's the new Trump story. But it's not totally up to Pete Hegseth. We know that's a lie. We know that nothing is up to Pete Hegseth. We know that Donald Trump will order Hegseth to release the video, or Trump will order Hegseth, as he obviously is now ordering him, to not release the video. Why? Because Donald Trump believes the video looks like murder. That's the reason not to release it, and that would be the only reason Trump would not allow the release of that video. That's it. That's the only reason. Trump wants us to see all his other videos of killing people in those boats, but not this one, because he thinks whatever is on it is just too bad for us to see. Rachel Scott still wasn't finished, and Rachel Scott knows who is really in control of that video. Scott, are you committing to releasing the full video? Trump, didn't I just tell you that you're the most obnoxious reporter in the whole place? Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, terrible, actually a terrible reporter, and it's always the same thing with you. I told you whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me. Let me be clear about something. If you are a member of the White House press corps and Donald Trump has not told you that you are a terrible reporter, then you are not doing your job. If you are a member of the White House press corps and Donald Trump has not told you you are the most obnoxious reporter in the whole place, then you are not doing your job. You are failing. Last Thursday, Senator Mark Warner told us that he believed the two men were incapacitated when they were killed by the second missile. Senator Warner is one of the members of Congress who has actually seen the video. Reporters have been piecing together accounts of what is on that video from different people who have seen it and from other sources. And some of those accounts indicate the military justification for killing those two people who Senator Warner says were incapacitated is that they could have been trying to signal drug traffickers to rescue them. The New York Times reports there were no other unknown aircraft or boats in visual range. According to officials who attended classified sessions on Thursday in which military officers briefed lawmakers, the officers said the survivors could have been trying to beckon to other alleged drug traffickers in a plane or boat to come get them, communications that could have justified the follow-up strike that killed them. First of all, no plane could come get them in the middle of the ocean. Second, the military knows exactly what other aircraft were within miles of that airspace at that time. They didn't have to rely on what could be seen by the human eye. The military knows exactly what vessels were in sight of the attack the entire time. Even recreational small boats have radar that is good enough to tell them every single thing that is floating in the water for miles around them. And military radar for water surface and for aircraft is beyond anything in possession of the private sector. If the military could claim tonight that there was a single floating anything within miles of that attack, they would claim it, and they would have the evidence to claim it, including radar evidence. The military would not leave Admiral Frank Bradley out there without the protection of the evidence they collected as a reason to kill those two men, to order the killing of those two men, as Admiral Bradley says he did. It's not guesswork about whether there was some aircraft that they could have signaled. What kind of aircraft are they imagining could have gone out there in the middle of the ocean to save those two people clinging to wreckage? The only aircraft that can do that is a Coast Guard helicopter. So unless the military comes forward and says, here's our proof of other boats within range that could have come and picked up those two men, no one should believe that was in any way possible. If it was possible, they have tracking evidence showing exactly what that vessel was that was in range of those two men. And if there were other boats anywhere in that ocean that they suspected might go pick up those men, why wouldn't they have sent a missile at that boat they suspect of doing that? They don't need much provocation to send these missiles down there. The military cover-up that is going on right now depends on people not thinking. It depends on people knowing nothing about boats on the ocean, knowing nothing about radar, knowing nothing about military technology in a situation like this. The military cover-up depends on people having no idea where those boats are at sea, thousands of miles away from the United States, without the fuel capacity or the engine capacity to get here. These are outboard motors on these boats, and they're supposed to be filled with drugs, so they can't be filled with fuel. Boats that size would have to be filled with fuel, and they still wouldn't be able to make it all the way to the United States. So they would have to have transit points in the islands, in the chain of islands, all the way up the Caribbean. Why wouldn't you find those transit points and grab them there? Why wouldn't you choke off those transit points? Donald Trump's claims that those drugs were headed for America depend on people knowing absolutely nothing about the capacity of those small outboard engine vessels, small boats that do not have that kind of range. They can't make it from the Southern Caribbean or from the Pacific in some instances. They can't make it up to this country. And the only reason this kind of speculation is going on in the news media about what those men might or might not have been doing as they were about to drown is that Donald Trump is hiding the video. Trump has shown you videos of plenty of attacks the American military has launched against defenseless small boats, none of which were actually headed to the United States at that time. Trump has shown us videos of him and Pete Hegseth killing people in the Caribbean, but they have one video of one missile strike killing just 2 people that they absolutely do not want us to see. And that is a cover-up by their own terms of this public engagement, because in the Trump-Hegseth terms of this public engagement, this kind of killing in the Caribbean will be televised. They want us to see it. They want us to be as bloodthirsty as they are. They want us to enjoy it the way they so obviously enjoy it. And for Donald Trump, the more people he can kill in the Caribbean, the more attention he can divert from the Epstein files. But he doesn't want to divert attention apparently with that one video of the killing of those 2 men. Every other video of them killing everyone else in the Caribbean, that's okay. The more attention he can divert from what's happening to the cost of living in America, and especially the cost of health insurance, that's what these videos are about for him. Health insurance that is going to skyrocket out of reach for people who depend on tax credits in the Affordable Care Act. And today, Donald Trump revealed once again that there is no Trump healthcare plan and there is no Republican plan on healthcare. A reporter asks, Mr. President, 22 million Americans are expected to see their healthcare insurance premiums start to rise by the beginning of next year. Trump, you're talking about because Obamacare is so bad. Reporter, yes, well, sir, because the Obamacare subsidies are expiring. Are you going to do anything? What is the Republican plan? Are you going to let that happen on your watch? Trump, what I'm going to do is if the Democrats go along with it, which they don't want to because they want to make the insurance companies very rich. That's it. That's his answer. No plan. Just word salad and blame shifting. 22 million Americans about to see their premiums skyrocket, and Trump's response is to blame Democrats and claim they want to make insurance companies rich, which is projection of the highest order since Republicans are the ones refusing to extend the subsidies. So here's where we are. Trump lied about his own words from last week. When called on the lie by a brave reporter, he gave up immediately and changed his story. He's hiding the video of what appears to be a war crime because even he knows it looks like murder. He's using Caribbean killings as a distraction from his Epstein cover-up and his healthcare failures. And he has no plan whatsoever for the healthcare crisis that's about to explode in less than a month. This is your president, a liar who can't even keep his lies straight for a week. A man hiding evidence of potential war crimes, a leader with no solutions for the problems Americans actually face. And the only good news is that we have reporters like Rachel Scott who won't let him get away with it, even when he calls them terrible and obnoxious for doing their jobs.